G'day folks, it's Cortezerino. I thought we could start where we left off last episode at the lag-proof concrete converter. Now there's something very interesting I've found out about this design. She ain't lag-proof. So I wanted to experiment with the design, so I built this in my redstone testing world and was playing around with it. And that was a big mistake because on the redstone testing world, everything just worked perfectly because there was no lag. So what I did is I came on here on the server and I started playing YouTube and opened up a bunch of windows and just made my connection absolutely terrible. And then I gave it a go. And yeah, the whole thing went haywire. But before we get into that, I'll show you some of the adjustments I've made. I've got an input chest here so we can load it up with extra concrete powder. That chest is actually nothing. It's just there for looks. The output chest is down here, and I've got a bit of extra storage in that chest. And I've also put a hopper here. So we're standing on a hopper now just in case any items fall down on my head. And because I've got the hopper here, I couldn't have the dropper facing into me because if it was facing into me, as soon as it drops a bit of concrete powder at me, it just goes into the hopper. So I've got it facing forward and I've got a stair there. So I'm still collecting it through that stair. It's not flying out here or anything. So that's all working just fine. The problem is that when I get a lot of lag, I'm rarely breaking the first bit of concrete. I'm usually breaking the second, and every now and then I'm breaking the third. And I think what's happening is it's turning into a bit of a glass item elevator. So by the time the bit of concrete appears in item form, I think I've already placed the next block. So it's finding itself inside a block, and it's shooting up, and it's ending up on top up there. Now that's not really a big problem. I could fix that because I've got this water stream coming down here into another hopper. So I could just put a big pool of water up the top. So any items that fly up there get into the water and end up coming down here. So I could fix that. But also they're not necessarily going straight up. Sometimes they're flying out here. So that's an issue. Like, when it's not really laggy on the server, it works just fine, but otherwise, it's going everywhere. So I want to try something right here, I think. So I brought with me, I think we've got enough. We're going to make a hopper minecart because it has a much higher reach than hoppers. So let me just break some of this stuff. That's no good, Cortez. Hang on. I should have got rid of that water before I started doing funny stuff. Oh no, that's okay. It's not too bad. I might get rid of that water. Let me go get a bucket. Alrighty, we'll pick you up. My pick's in really bad shape at the moment because I've been mining sandstone because I've been working on my big sandstone castle, what do you call it? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. We're going to get back to there this episode at some stage. So I'll get rid of that chest. We'll replace you with a hopper. And I'm going to put the hopper minecart right here. Now I'm going to leave the piece of rail where it is, because if you break the rail, the minecart drops slightly and it sort of affects its reach. But I'm hoping now with the hopper minecart there, when I'm breaking that second block, the minecart's just going to grab it and won't let it fly off in weird directions. But we're not going to test this right now. I will do that another time. Let's put the carpet back. Okay. Hopefully that is a bit of a fix. But before we do anything else, there's something else I need to fix. So the other thing I have to fix is Tango's item sorter here. I am having tons of problems with this thing, and I guess other people who have built it will have found the same problem as well. Now, I'm not sure if it's an actual design problem. I think it's more that I will load it up with items and then I'll fly away and let the chunks unload, or I'll even log out of the game. And when that happens, things can go a little bit funky. So you see this comparator all the way down here turned on. So what happens is an item's supposed to flow into this dropper, and this will flick on for a second and start a cycle, and that fires all the droppers and sends the item up. But I think what's happening is, for a second, we're getting two items in this bottom dropper, so it will fire the first one, But the second item in here just keeps this turned on, and it sort of shuts the whole thing down, and then we end up with droppers absolutely clogged up with junk, and it doesn't work. So he's designed it this way so only one module will be firing when it needs to be firing to cut down on lag, but yeah, this I guess it's a chunk unloading problem is causing this thing just to get clogged up. So what I'd like to do is find a spot in the redstone where I can maybe put a lever. I brought some levers with me. I want to be able to just turn the entire thing on and make the entire thing run, and hopefully that will unclog it, because I've been in here too many times just emptying these droppers. It is a pain. On second thought, it may not be that simple, just because of this comparator here. Short of breaking it and replacing it with something else, it's going to be a bit of an issue. I mean, I could fix it by adding extra clocks into the back here just to be able to come along, start them up, and trigger these towers to constantly run. But I don't really have the room to build that, so I don't know. We might just have to think about this for a while. There's no clear solution to it. I wonder if anyone else has come up with a solution for it. I might do some research on that. It's the problem is I just don't have that much room to change things. And I could go and put, I think it's Nenmon's design in, but then it's a lot longer, so I don't really have the room for that. So yeah, we'll have to think about that. Now what I'm going to do is exactly what I shouldn't be doing and fly away as it's running, and it's probably just going to break again. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's go over to the hanging gardens. So I was about to say I have completed the walls, and then I realised I left some arches out over there, but that's no biggie. I can fix that pretty quickly. But we are pretty much done with the walls. We're nearly able to start on the tree farm, but there is a few little issues. Mobs can quite easily walk in through these big archways, so I need to do something about this. So I need to rig up my staircases up to the next level and my entrance to the tree farm. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, because this area looked so big before. Now that I've got the walls up, it's kind of looking a bit small, and if I start putting big staircases up on nice gradual angles here, I'm going to cut into my room a lot as well. But I think what I'll do is I'll just put them in, and I'll see what kind of room I have left. And my kind of idea for the next level of the gardens is I did want the staircases to come in sort of gradually, because this is going to be a tiered building, so there's going to be another level above this that's slightly smaller than this square, and then another one above that, kind of like an Aztec pyramid, and then there's going to be gardens in all the flat areas. So I wanted the stairs to come up and end up inside of a building, and so you walk out of the building onto the next level. So I better repair my pick before I start, but that's what I was getting all my sandstone with. So I've got 2 shulker boxes full of sandstone ready to go to start experimenting. But I'm going to go do some villager trading, repair my pick, and we can get started. So I thought I was making a Minecraft episode, but it turns out I'm making a Seinfeld episode. The show about nothing. Yes, I know, I said I'd be over there building staircases and stuff like that, but I couldn't leave it alone. I've got redstone problems. I just had to have a look at it. And I don't know if my theory was correct about chunks unloading and 2 items getting into that bottom dropper. I think the reason that dropper couldn't fire the other item up was because the droppers above were stacked full of items, because I found a problem with this dropper right here. The second one from the top, it would not fire. It was completely clogged full of items, and all the ones below it were clogged. It just wouldn't fire. Now, I think, so here we go, another Cortezerino theory. I think it was because of quasi-connectivity, because these droppers are firing because of quasi-connectivity. And I have in the past discovered really weird things happening with that, like droppers that wouldn't fire, and the only way I could get them to work again was to break them and replace them. So that's what I did. I broke it and replaced it, and it started to work, and then it broke again a little while later. So I don't pretend to be an expert on quasi-connectivity, but a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, I actually figured it out for 5 minutes or so, and I used it to get Space Invaders to work. My Space Invaders game used this weird quality of droppers just refusing to fire because of quasi-connectivity. I actually utilized that in my minigame, and I can't remember exactly how I did it, so what I've decided to do was to try and take quasi-connectivity out of it completely. So you see I've got these blocks right here. Basically, they're sitting on top of the redstone torch, so the torch is powering them, which will power the dropper instead of it using quasi-connectivity to be powered. And so far, it is working. So for the time being, this is my solution. And I've only put in the first stack because this first little quadrant of what did I even call it? This segment? Oh, I can't even remember what I called it. It's too late. I've been working on this for too long. This first little area, I've put them in there because that was the one that seemed to be having most of the problems. And hopefully that'll fix it. So here's a lot of the items I cleared out of the droppers. We're going to put them back in, and hopefully it does not break this time. And while we're revisiting everything I did at the start of the episode, I noticed something in my editing, so I haven't put the water stream back in. Good thing too, because this is a disaster waiting to happen. That water's just going to splash onto those rails, it's going to break them. I have no idea what the hopper minecart's going to do when the water hits it, but that is not a solution. The water's just going to wash the tracks away. So I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see if we can hold the water back and at the same time hold the hopper minecart up and hopefully still be able to place a block there. Okay, so I broke everything. Let's get it back out of the chests. Let's remake that. The plan is, let's put a trapdoor on top of the hopper. That will hold the water back. And we're going to put the hopper minecart on top of this bad boy. Let's see if we can place a rail. Yes, we can. Can we place the hopper minecart? Can we place it? Yes, we can. Now we'll break the block. Rail's gone. Hopper minecart's sitting on top of the trapdoor. Let's get our junk back out. Now, can I place a block above? Yes, I can. There's enough room. It's not lifting it up too high to stop me placing the block, which will mean I can place my concrete powder there. All right, next step. Let's put some water down there. This is a beautiful sight to look at. It's ready to be tested. There's no point in me testing it now because I'm not lagging out that much, so this thing will continue to work perfectly, but I think I'll have to stop the recording and absolutely destroy my internet connection, and we will give this a go. But yeah, that's a cool little solution. I like that. So I've been doing something that I never ever do in Minecraft, which everyone else seems to do, is spreading torches all over the place. That was a lot of torches. And I see why I never do it. That's really, really boring. But I'm starting to put a bit of a roof on here, and I didn't want a big mob factory down there. So I'm just putting the roof on to get a bit of an idea about these stairs, like what level I want things at. And it's not going to stay like this. Like I've built this big slab ceiling a block below where I'm going to actually have the floor, and this way I can actually build and design my gardens without having to worry about building on the edge and falling down the bottom. So I've put in steep stairs to start with here. I mean, they look alright from down the bottom, but it's a bit too steep. I don't like where they appear up the top there. And I think my original idea was to have 2 sets of staircases on each side, but it's sort of cutting into the room I have for my tree farm, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, I think I'm going to slope this staircase a bit more gently so the stairs pop up just over there somewhere. And like the hanging gardens are supposed to be a big tiered building. Like I mentioned earlier, you got another level coming up here, then another level. That doesn't really give me a lot of room to build nice gardens and ponds and things. So I think what I might do is at about this line here, all the way around, do a set of like big decorative arches, and that way it sort of looks like we're going up another level, but I can keep it flat for a lot longer before I do another building. You'll see what I mean when I eventually build it, but we're not doing that this episode because I've done it. I have done it. My lag-resistant concrete machine, as far as I can tell, is now lag-proof. Now, I've tested this with stack after stack of concrete powder, and I've actually got so much concrete now that I don't know when I'm actually going to need to use this thing, but it's not as pretty as the lag-resistant version, but at least now I'm not losing any items. Like the hopper minecart really helped. It's collecting a lot more than it did before, but even with that there, I was still getting items out on the ground here, and I was still getting a couple of items up the top. So to stop them coming out this side, really simple. I just put a line of blocks on the other side of those trapdoors, and they stopped flying out in this direction. And these extra poles are just to try and decorate it, but it does look hideous. But anyway, it works really well. But yeah, my idea for just having some water to collect the blocks that go flying up the top, that didn't work. It was really weird. Like I thought it'd be like a normal glass item elevator where they just go up the top, land in the water, and then flow down into this hopper. But they weren't doing that at all. They were getting to the top and they were sort of half stuck in a block, and they were doing that thing where they sort of dance around all over the place. So to fix that, I've just got a hopper up there which is connected to nothing at all, so if an item does go up there, and far fewer of them do go up there now, like I did 4 stacks before and I only have 1 item go up there, but if it does go up there, that hopper will grab it. So if I check my chest at the end and I'm missing an item or 2, I can just jump up and check the hopper to see if any are up there. So it's a little bit dodgy that I've got 2 sort of outputs, 2 collection areas that I have to check, but it makes it lag-proof, and unless you're lagging out completely, you should never actually get one up there, unless your connection is as bad as mine. So we're going to leave it here, guys. This was an episode about nothing, but we've actually done a ton of work on our hanging gardens up the back there. We've done heaps and heaps, but I kept getting distracted with my little redstone designs. So I still hope it was enjoyable for you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Cortezerino. I'll see you later.